Welcome. I have my daughter Avia with me today, and I'm so excited.
This is so exciting. We've been talking about this for so long. Now we're doing it.
We're doing it.
It's
We're
so
finally
fun.
doing it. Okay, I have a special place in my heart for each one of my kids, but my oldest daughter, I just love her so much.
Don't cry. Come on, Mom.
I'm not crying. I'm perfectly fine. I am composed and perfectly fine. Welcome to Empowered Now. I'm your host, Colette Kati. Join me as we talk all things to uplift, encourage, teach, inspire, and empower you to see your best self, to live your best life, and to thrive wherever you are. So I really wanted to have Avia on Empowered Now because I think that she is the epitome of empowered. Like, people see her and what she's doing in her life. And even as a child on the Shaytards videos, let's see, how old were you when we started?
I don't remember. I know that it was in like 2009 when we first started. I think I was in
you're like 4.
kindergarten. 4?
Yeah, you were like 4 or 5.
Wait, really?
Well, when were they? 2005?
If I was
Right?
4 when we started, that's crazy. Because 4 is my lucky number.
You were, because it was 2000.
I feel like that's so young. I feel like I was older than that. But I mean,
No,
you would know
you
more
weren't.
than me, but that's crazy.
No,
I
you
didn't even
weren't.
realize.
Yeah.
Learning so many new things.
I know, right? So even back then, when you were that small, you were known as like the bossy girl and like the independent one and the empowered one. And it's so true. She's always had that energy. And even people, maybe she won't remember this, but she'll look back at old videos and say, Mom, why did you let me wear that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I had a choice, but it wasn't worth the fight, because she was so sure about everything that she wanted and wanted to be independent. And I let her
Thank you.
in some ways, not in
Yeah,
every way.
I'm like, I look back at old videos, I'm like, why did you wear that? But also, it probably helped like me gain my own sense of style at a very young age. So thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. I really tried. I'm like, please wear this cute outfit I bought for you.
Oh,
Fine.
fine. I feel like I wore some of them. I just, not very often.
You just had your own mix of things, and it was perfect. And now look at your style. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, I love it. I had so many different questions that I wanted to ask you, but I also want this to just be like, I want you to be able to share where you are in your empowerment journey, I guess, and what has empowered you to hear, but not even just like the great parts and like, oh, I did this and it worked, but maybe some of the
The
struggles,
messy parts too.
the messy parts.
Yeah.
Before we go into all of that, I wanted to say, so Avia, she has always been a lot like your dad, where you like have a goal and you set the goal and you do what it takes to get there. And I just want to say that I have noticed that about you. And it's always meant so much to me to witness that in you, like just going after your dreams. And even if it was just like, what was the last video you posted? And you're like, I'm going to Paris. And you were what, 7, 8? And now you went to Paris and you were living your dream and you finally got to do all those things. So there's a little bit of like manifesting, I want to say, that Avia has just kind of created this life for her because she's dreamed big her whole life. She hasn't let herself play small. And I love that about you.
Thank you, Mom. I mean, I feel like you tell me that a lot. Like, you and Dad are always like, I'm so proud of you. You've like gone, like you've doing these crazy things. And I don't know. I've always thought of it as like, well, duh, like, it's like what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know, when I decided I want to be an actress when I'm older now. And like working to be we're filming an audition today. And it was just like, I don't know, I think maybe it's like my genes or Dad's quality, like in my genes, just being like, well, yeah, like I'm just going to do it. Like, I don't know. I've never really, like, I've of course had doubts. There's definitely a no-brainer about that. I've had doubts and like fears, and all the girls go through like self-confidence and like body issues and things like that. But at the end of the day, I like knew deep down that that's what I wanted it to do. And I would rather die trying than die not knowing that what could have happened if I didn't try, And I'm not like there yet. Like, I've only been in one project so far. I mean, in this age, like, we did stuff when I was little, but I feel like when I was little, I didn't know that I wanted to do it yet. I was just like, oh, fun. Like, Dad said we're doing this. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was always down to do it. But I think when I decided that that's what I wanted to do, it became this whole thing in my brain, like, okay, we're going to forever work towards this. And so like I've just been auditioning and things, and like I'm not there yet, but I feel like through like work and like honestly your life advice and like advice through, honestly, as negative as social media can be, it can also be amazing, because I've learned about manifesting and like the law of affirmation and affirmations all through TikTok. Like I would see a couple of my For You page, and I used to, like when I was in high school, just like swipe, but now it's like that stuff intrigues me so much, because like I don't know, when people believe in themselves and then like you see them, their goals become real, it's just like, it's appealing. Like it's so amazing to see that, like, oh, like it's possible. Like when I was watching an interview of Natalie Portman, sorry, this is all over the place, but I was watching an interview of Natalie Portman, and she was just like talking about her acting and how it like came to be, and she just normalized it so much, like being an actress. Like, yeah, when you're an actress for that long, it's very normal, but also she just made it seem like, yeah, like this is what I do. So I feel like that's what I'm trying to, like that quality, like gaining that, I've been trying to like have. I don't know where I was going with this. Manifesting, yeah, and just like, anyways, like the law of affirmations and learning all that has helped me to get where I want to be. And like I'm not there yet, but I feel like growing and learning is like helping me to get there on my own time.
How important do you think, because you said that you just believed, like you had this desire and you're like, I can do that. Like how important do you think that believing in yourself is?
Oh my gosh, it's literally the number one thing you need. I think it's like, if you want something in this lifetime, it's like other people might doubt you, and you will obviously doubt yourself occasionally, but I feel like that belief in yourself is like so important, because when everyone else is like, you can't do this, like when everyone else is like, be realistic, like what's your plan B? It's like you need to have that unfathomable faith in yourself deep down. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get it as fast as other people did. Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not as like good as like XYZ, but I could still do it if I like really want to. And I think that also, like whatever you believe in yourself and doing, like having that come from like a deep desire that you truly want to do it, not because Samantha from cheer class is doing it, or it's just like listening to your intuition and your heart of what you really want to do, and then believing that whatever your heart's desire is, like believing in that. Wow, that was a lot.
That's really powerful, because I feel like that's not necessarily common. I think there's a lot of people that don't have that belief, or they do get a lot of messages from family or just society or whatever it is that oh, be realistic, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's funny, that's cute, true. But really,
and it's hard. Like especially when you're surrounded, like we live in a smaller town and I love this town, but when you're surrounded by people who also don't like believe that you can do it, it can be hard. So like I understand when everyone's like, be realistic, what's your plan B? It can be hard to believe in yourself with all of that external like yapping, if that makes sense.
So what do you think has helped you instill that belief? Because I know that's even just getting to that point and believing in yourself, a lot of people struggle with. I mean, I know I did.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, it was never like, oh my gosh, it's never like a 100%. I always have believed in myself since day one. Like it's definitely an up and down battle is what I've learned also with manifesting and with like believing in yourself, self-confidence. Like it's always going up and down, and staying consistent with it. I feel like I watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to do this, and just like basically hanging out with like-minded people. I think that that's why my senior year, not my senior year, like the senior year summer, I literally was like ghosted everyone, which is not the best thing you should do, but I kind of just like hung out with no one that was in our town, because I just was like, I don't know, I feel like when I talk about my dreams, they just like don't believe in me, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's just what they think, but like, I don't know, just hanging around, like that's why I love talking with you, because like you're my mom and you supported me, and like you and dad, and then like if you don't have people to surround yourself with, just like reading like books on how to do it, and just like, I don't know how you guys feel about like God and the universe and like source energy, but I believe in the higher power, God, and so I feel like that helped a lot, just like praying and just like having that connection with him, because I feel like I believe that our intuition comes from like, or like your heart's desire. You have that desire for a reason. I think that God put our desires in our heart for a reason. So just staying connected with that, obviously still hanging out with friends, but also having that connection with God at the same time. I don't know. I feel like I just got really lucky, because I was like, I went through a friend breakup my going into my senior year. And if that never happened, I don't think any of this would happen, because
Really?
I started hanging out with myself so much that I like figured out what I wanted in life instead of what my friends wanted or my parents wanted or anyone, because it just like gave me that time to be like, wait, I think I want to move to LA. I think I want to like take this acting thing that I've always wanted seriously. Like, I don't want to like I was applying to colleges and stuff because I was like, oh, that's what everyone else is doing. But then spending that time by myself, I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, of course, like some people love to do that, and I'm so happy for them because that's what they want to do and that's what their timeline is, but it just wasn't for me. And so I was like, now I'm happy that that friendship breakup happened, because now I like feel like I'm where I'm meant to be. But back then I was like so mad at God and like just everything that happened. I was like, why did this happen to me? Like, these were my best friends. I love them so much. Like, I just didn't really have a sense of self because I was always with my friends. I never spent time by myself. So like, I feel like that helped a lot with my journey to learning to figure out what my sense of self was, what I desired in this lifetime, believing in that unfathomably, even if it was freaking hard, and then like still working towards that every single day of my life. Like, I have doubts all the time, but at the end of the day, you just got to keep going, you got to keep trying. Like,
and that's so incredible. Like that, just your attitude, I feel like not everybody has that. And so to hear that you, like, it sounds like you very much intentionally were choosing yourself. And I've talked about this in multiple podcasts before this, but how that choice to choose yourself, that's what that means. It's like, what do I want? Like you said, like being with yourself, really getting to know, what do I actually want? And taking away, not that you have to lose friends to do that, but that's what happened to you and not by your choice. It was just like the trial, the challenge that showed up for you was kind of guiding you to find yourself.
Yeah, and I think that like it's different for everyone. Not everyone's gonna go through like a friendship breakup or anything, or maybe something crazy won't happen, but it's just like, I feel like important to like try every single day to try to believe in that part of you, even if it's really, really hard, because it's like, it's hard to be positive. It's hard to like choose to believe in yourself. It's hard to believe in a higher power. Like, I get it, because you don't see it. Like, having that blind faith can be hard sometimes, but if you're willing to push through the hard, it's like so worth it. Like, in the end, it is always worth it.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
So I love hearing that you're like, it's always worth it. You push through the hard, it's always worth it. Because I don't think that I always believed that. Because sometimes it just felt too hard. And even now, like, I've got big goals for myself. And even now I'm like, okay, I've got to continue that process of letting go of the static so that I can like be in my truth and be diligently or dedicated to my work so that I can reach my goals, because it is a constant. It's not just like doing the work, it's doing the internal work to like let go of the negative thinking that's attached to you not getting your goal.
Yes.
Because it, especially like comments, haters, like you get all sorts of feedback that can be like, oh no, I should probably quit.
Yeah. No, you and Dad have literally done such a good job at teaching me to like be okay with being misunderstood. Because if you have like big dreams or goals, or you want to write a book, or you want to like, I don't know, go to the Olympics, it's like hard when you have all those haters. But like, not everyone is going to understand you. You could like Kendall Jenner, she was in a podcast and she talked about how one of the most frustrating things was like posting something and everyone else like hating on her for it, even though that was the opposite of what was true. And just like learning, as hard as it is, to be okay with people not understanding you or believing in you, or like that is like probably the hardest part. And just like kind of like detaching from those haters. Like, haters are the biggest motivators. Like, I kind of like the haters because it's like, it gives me more motivation to prove them wrong. And also, if you have haters, then you're relevant. So it's like,
okay,
bring them on.
See, I love the mindset. She's got all this mindset around the haters. That is so helpful. Because okay, so you said something I want to rewind a little bit. You were saying, like, what you have to be okay with people not understanding you. But I also think that there's an element of understanding what voice you're actually hearing. Because sometimes we are getting feedback, negative feedback from other people, but often that negative feedback lives in our heads. It's like literally we believe the hate. We believe that negativity. So it's like it becomes our voice, not somebody else's. And sometimes it starts with ourselves. Sometimes it comes from outside sources like our parents or haters or whatever, bullies. But sometimes it comes, we create it in our own
That's true.
psyche.
I feel like I've gone through that, like the fear and like the hate in my head. But you just like, I don't know, you just gotta like try your hardest to focus on the positive parts, and it's not always good. Like I've had fear, like, you know, I've called you crying over things and like doubting myself and just having all these negative beliefs. But I feel like also like they pass. Like I'll have like a really bad week where I'm like, why am I even here? What am I doing? Like listening to the hate comments, like thinking I'm fat and all these things. And then like I feel like in those moments you just have to keep going no matter how hard it is. And like in the sense that like if I'm going through a hard thing, I'll like force myself to call you, or I'll force myself to put my freaking phone down and just stop scrolling, or I'll force myself to like write in my journal, like read a book. And then if you stay positive during the hard times, even when it doesn't feel like you're being positive, or if you know, call your mom, journal, do all those things while it's harder, it becomes easier when it's positive, like when you feel better, because then it's like you practice building those positive beliefs while everything in your head was going to shit. And then once you were out of that like feeling, and it's like you feel so empowered. And it's like, oh, I made it out of there alive. Like, yeah, we almost died through it, but we made it and we're here.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
That's so true. And I would definitely speak to that, because I remember days where my self-work was literally just one moment at a time, breathe. Because I would be so in my head or having such a terrible day where it's like you just have to know, okay, keep moving forward and do whatever you need to do to get yourself healthy. Like put down the phone, call your mom or whoever you need to call, but take action in the direction that you want to be, even if it doesn't feel possible, even if it doesn't feel believable. Like even if you don't believe yourself, that's one thing with like affirmations. Sometimes affirmations can be hard because we don't always believe the affirmations, and our brain and our psyche is a little bit, I mean, it's smart. It's like, okay, well, cool. You're saying like I can do anything, but I don't actually believe that. So like, meeting yourself where you are can be really valuable too.
Yeah. And I feel like when you are in those deep ruts, there's a quote that I heard this girl say on TikTok who was like a gym influencer. And she was like, what'd she say? She said, don't think, just do it. Like, don't think about how like you don't want to do it. I hate this. This is so stupid. Like, just like turn your brain off, turn your thoughts off like in a moment and just do it. Read that book, call your mom, write in your journal, start that podcast, like whatever your goal is. It's not that you even have to do something huge. Just like taking a step towards that goal, I think is so important.
Yes, taking action is very valuable, because that's one of the things that I've done a lot, is like I think about things a lot and then I'm like, I actually have to do something now. And that's when the fear gets kicked up. That's when that part that doesn't believe in myself gets kicked up. So, and I have a couple thoughts around that, but what would you say for yourself? Like when you are pushed up against that part of you that doesn't believe in yourself, like what are some things that you do on a daily basis or when that part comes up to help yourself?
I like to write in my journal. Also, this is going to sound weird, but I will just stand in the mirror and say things to myself, like affirmations, like I can do it. I am doing it. I am successful. This is doable. There is room for me at the top. There is room for me to be able to do this. Like if she did it, why can't I? Even if I don't believe it, even if I'm like deep down, I'm like, hey, just shut up. Like that's not true. But like you just kind of got to force yourself. But then it's also like, I don't want to do it sometimes. So then I just lay on the bed. And then it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, I'm so sick of sitting in the self-pity that I have to. And I think that throwing yourself an occasional pity party is worth it. Because then like, it's kind of fun to sit in your own self-pity. But then it's like afterwards, it kind of is like, okay, I'm ready to start again and to keep going, even if it's freaking hard. And it's like, yeah, just doing that. I like to write in my journal a lot, read, and then also watch YouTube videos about like this, like podcasts on how to get what you want, or like I'll watch actors' interviews because that's who I want to be, and I want to be surrounded by that mentality. And just like you just gotta like eventually just force yourself to do those things that you don't want to do, really. because it's like you got to get over like the fear, or you got to get over like, I used to be so scared of auditioning because I was like, just like all the doubts, or like, what if they don't want me, or just all these things. But it's like, you just got to do it, because once you get it done, then the fear is gone. And then you're like, oh, I'm so happy I did that.
Right.
And then it's like worth it.
So there's a saying that says, when you're in, okay,
You got
when
it.
you're in the, when you're,
It's okay, you're doing great.
it's something about when you're out of your comfort zone, you're in the growth zone. That's what it is.
Yes, I saw you reposted that.
When you're out of your comfort
Yeah, I was
zone,
like-
you're in the growth zone.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because you're like having that, not just self-discipline, but I want to go back to something else you said. When there's a part of you that doesn't believe it, like with the affirmations, that's one thing that I have discovered a different tool to use in coaching. Because I used to do that where I would just ignore it and be like, okay, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I can do this. And like, but there's still a part of you that's like, do you really believe it though? Mm-hmm. And that's what I have learned to be with that part, to be with the part of you that doesn't quite believe in yourself is actually going to help that part go away. Does that make sense?
You teach us.
It's like a process that, it's acceptance. Like when you accept, oh, I might not believe in myself, or there's parts of me that doesn't believe in myself. So when you like pay attention to that part, not that you're giving it energy or feeding it, you're just, I talked about this on my last Instagram live. It's like a little child when they're like pulling on your pant leg. They just want your attention. When you finally give it the attention it needs, it lets go and it goes to play, right? I'm talking like a child, isn't it? But you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's just nagging on you. Like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Okay, let me get curious about that. Like, okay, there's a part of me that doesn't believe. That's okay.
No, you always teach
know?
me this. When I call her bawling my eyes out, she tells me this, and it always helps. Because if you are like, oh, maybe I don't believe in myself, then you sit with that part of you, and then maybe you cry. Maybe you're like, wait, what? I always thought I believed in myself. And then it's like, you kind of accept it instead of being in denial. And then it does eventually go away once you're like, okay, I don't believe in myself. What can we do to switch this around? Because I don't want to not believe in myself. I don't want to be like, that's why affirmations are good, but also this is very important too, because you don't want to be in denial of like, oh, but I actually don't believe in myself. So it's like, I feel like contradicting itself. So yes, affirmations are powerful, but that's such a good point of like accepting that part of you if you really, really don't believe in yourself, because then it's like, well, let's fix it.
Yeah.
Because then you're aware of like, wait, we can fix this. And then I can go frolic in the fields happy that I believe in myself eventually once I learn how to do it.
Well, and that's why affirmations are excellent. They're amazing. I use them a lot. And sometimes I really feel my energy shift because I'm using the affirmations. But if there is a time when you're using an affirmation and you're like, that is not landing, then you know there's a part of you that is resisting it. And that's when you go and you look at the resistance. You pay attention to it. And I do this with my clients all the time with specific things. And we'll go through a process to like help just acknowledge and be with that part. Because the truth is, when you see it and you acknowledge it and you maybe there's some emotion around it, maybe you grieve it, maybe you're sad. It's like, but then you can question it too. Like, is that true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? And then you find evidence evidence that supports your truth. Evidence that supports what you want. You can like shift that belief around and then you support the new belief. It's powerful.
Yeah, I used to not believe in that. I used to be like, yeah, okay, mom, like I'm just going to stick to my affirmations. But it's like, it's so weird how it makes sense, because I feel like we don't want to sit in that hurt. Like I used to avoid sitting in the, no, I believe in myself. Like just kind of contradicting that, or I guess the word is like, just like ignoring that part of me, that a little kid that was yanking on my pant leg, just like pantsing me at this point. But I'm like, no, I'm not listening to you. So, but then like I went through that one practice with you where I like, that one time I felt like I wasn't enough, and I like talked to you about it. And like, it was so hard sitting in that feeling of knowing maybe I don't think I'm enough. But then like after that whole transformation we did, I like, ever since then I've had an undoubt like feeling in my stomach that's like, you are enough no matter what happens. It's like, it's so weird, Like this
Yes.
queen, like her life coaching skills or whatever, they're so good. Cause it's like,
Oh, you're sweet.
instead of like going up, it's like we want to go like up in life, but like sometimes you've got to like feel the feelings and you literally just skyrocket like in a positive aspect. It's great.
Yeah. Ugh. You're the best.
You're the best.
No, it's one of those things that I feel like I didn't know before. And once I discovered it, I was like, whoa.
No, it's life-changing.
This has changed my whole world, because then like it's like your soul and your brain, like everything starts to align to where now you're all on board. Mm-hmm. But often there's parts of us that don't. And I know I realize I talk about these things sometimes in such a concept way that I want to give you more examples, and sometimes I struggle with that. So I got to think of a better example, and then I can tell you guys exactly what I'm trying to say. But I wanted to ask you, Avia. So I think that a lot of people are inspired by watching you, but I know that it hasn't always been easy. Is there an experience that you would want to share, or something that you'd want to share where you really did doubt yourself, or where you struggled and then you found a way to come out of it, and like what that was like for you?
There was a time, I think it was in like, honestly, like the last couple months, the first beginning months of 2024, where I was trying to change so much. I was like trying to become who I want to be without fully accepting the present moment. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't being thankful for where I was with like social media and career and auditions, that I was like hating myself so much, because I was like, I'm supposed to be farther. Like I'm supposed to, have this under my belt by now. I should be in a feature film by now. Like just beating myself up, because I was like, I wanted all these goals and they hadn't happened yet. And I was like really just pissed off at myself, because I was like, Avia, you could do better than that. Like I've kind of always been hard on myself, because I just have big expectations, and like I want to do good things in this life. So I feel like I was really going through like a mental, just like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to, like I just was like mentally not okay. I was just like pissed off at myself all the time. I wasn't having gratitude for the present moment, even though I was slaying on the outside. I just didn't see that internally. And I feel like what made me get out of it was just, I feel like I was trying so hard that I eventually just gave up. I was like, I'm done. Like I'm done trying. I'm done trying to be this person. Like I just kind of gave up on myself a little bit, and I just like kind of kept going through the motions every day. But it's weird how when I stopped trying, then everything started happening. I was like, I eventually just let go of trying to be who I wanted to be. And then all of a sudden, hey, you got this role in this project, by the way. Hey, you hit this milestone on TikTok, this brand wants to do brand deal with you. And I was like, wait, what? I've been trying this whole month, literally like editing for hours and hours, trying to get all these things that I've been like manifesting or working towards, and they never happened until I just was like, you know what? Screw this, I'm done. Oh, here are all these opportunities you wanted. It's like, wait, what? Like I was so confused.
I love that. That's actually a perfect example, because that energy of like trying it's like you're telling your psyche that there's a lack. Mm-hmm. It's like a scarcity mindset.
Oh, can you tell this to Past Avia? She needed to hear it so bad.
I get it. You don't get there till you get there.
Because that's what they teach in like manifesting videos. Mm-hmm. They say if you want something so bad, then it shows your psyche, your subconscious, that you don't have it yet because you want it so bad. So then you're repelling it even more, like your goals and your ambitions, like, and then like letting go of that made them like, because I wasn't chasing, I was attracting at that point, not knowing I was. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, now I'm slaying. Like,
yeah, what? It's such a backwards concept. Like you don't, it doesn't logically make sense, but this isn't logic.
And like everyone teaches you that you have to try and work and go. And they never teach you that like sometimes it's okay to relax internally.
Yeah. Well, and that's the key. So people think if I stop trying, then I'm not going to reach my goals. Or if I stop trying, I'm not going to lose weight, or I'm not going to, whatever it is. Like if I don't try, obviously, like if we don't take action, it's not going to happen. But it's the energy, like the internal energy of like, I need something. It's, you're telling yourself, I don't actually have it. And there's a lack there. So I actually work with manifesting and coaching all the time. It's bringing the psyche into this energy of, it's here. I don't need anything. It's that energy of I'm good as I am. And that acceptance energy that I talk about all the time. Allowing yourself to be in reality, to be where you are, frees you up to experience or let life flow for you.
Like being like so present. Like I eventually learned that, where I was like, oh, the present moment, like my life's going, like just going and tumbling forward and I'm not even realizing it. I feel like, I don't know what I was doing, but I like took a step back and I was like looking around me and I was like, I'm in LA. Like I'm slaying. Like I don't need to be stressed. And then accepting the present moment and then having gratitude for the present moment is also like what helped as well. Because it's so important. Like if you don't learn to accept the present moment where you are right now, once you get those goals or those ambitions that you've been working towards, you won't enjoy that either, because you're not accepting where you are right now. And then when like you do accept yourself where you are right now, when those like goals eventually happen, it's going to feel so much better because you enjoyed the whole process. You enjoyed the journey, not just the destination.
Yes.
And I was just saying, I like just learned this like literally a couple months ago. So it's so ironic that we're talking about it. It's like, I did not talk like this like a year ago.
Right. Well, it's those kind of things that when you learn them, it's like, oh,
that's all I needed
life
to do.
Can be like this now. Okay. And then it can backfire sometimes and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that thing.
And you have to like slow down. You're like, oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. I get to be in the moment. I get to be exactly as I am. And so what would you say to people that, okay, so it's like being in the present moment, accepting where you are in the present moment. But what if your present moment sucks?
I would say that just makes the goals that much more exciting, because you know one day it's going to be really exciting. So just like keeping that happiness. I mean, if anything, gratitude I think is actually the most important thing, because if you think about it, like we're alive right now, we're breathing, we're like doing something super cool, like we're filming a podcast. I just had some chocolate true fruit. Like we have so many little things to be grateful for that we just like kind of let like pass by. There's been so many people that have died without living, and the fact that you are like self-aware that like you're alive right now is just one thing to be grateful for. Like we are in a universe where the world and like the sun and the moon, they all work together to spin, and you don't have to do anything. It just like works. Like if we stopped orbiting for 1 second, we would all explode, I think. I don't know for sure. Or like if we
something like that.
Something. I don't know. Someone with astronomy background, let me know. Or like if the sun stopped working, or like if there wasn't a sun for 1 second, like we would all die. Like there's so many little things where it's like that we can be grateful for. Or the fact that like we have like a friends or family, or just that like we can eat. Like I feel like just having gratitude for the little things is so important, even if like your life sucks right now. And I feel like sometimes people think that we don't really have like I've gotten comments where people don't think that I have the right to say that because I've had a very privileged life. And that is true. I have been very privileged, but I also know very privileged people who hate their lives. There are no rich people who like don't, like they hate who they are and they hate what they have. So I think that like if you don't have those privileges yet, still having that gratitude when you do have those privileges, if that's what you're working towards, then that gratitude will show immensely more. And then it's like, it's worth it. I keep saying it's going to be worth it, but it truly is.
Yeah. And I love that you said, there are people in any walk of life or any situation that are not okay. And I mean, and I experienced it. I talk about it in some of the first episodes where, it looked like our life was perfect on the outside. And it's like, what is wrong with me? Like I thought something was wrong with me because my brain and my mind, and I was having all this anxiety. I wasn't okay. And so it's easy to look at somebody on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or whatever and think, oh, their life is so glamorous. And yes, they probably are. But there might be demons or dealings that is happening inside of them that they're not okay. And so, I think that being online for so long and being on YouTube and seeing all of the comments and experiencing all of them has really taught me, I know we talk about this all the time, but has really taught me that you don't know anybody like you think you do. And if you're judging, you're probably wrong. And it's just not helpful because everybody's in their own experience. But I love what you said about gratitude, because that's one of the things. Gratitude dispels fear. And anytime you're in a negative energy or a negative thought process or situation even, like that gratitude energy dispels fear. It takes away that lack mentality. It brings you back into abundance energy. And that changes so much. I actually started using that very early on in my healing journey. And I remember thinking, I don't have anything to be grateful for. And I know some of you are like, how dare you? Right? Obviously, I had a lot to be grateful for, but I was so stuck in this negative, fearful, like, woe is me energy that it was really hard to find anything. It's like, why would I be grateful right now? And so it even helped me. I had a coach. Her name's Melanie. I love her so much. She taught me this energy of being grateful even for the bad stuff. So it's almost like this surrender where you just like put your hands out and just say, I'm grateful that I lost my job. I'm grateful
that's hard.
that I hate my body right now. I'm grateful. And it's like, it's this energy of just being present. And I know it sounds really awkward. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
But it's more of a feeling than words. So if you like sit with the energy, like close your eyes and put your hands, in the receiving position, so palms up. Just say, I am grateful that my boyfriend broke up with me.
Screw him.
Yeah.
I don't need him. You deserve better.
I'm grateful that I am grieving right now.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Do you feel it?
You just like accept it. And then it's like
an acceptance.
Oh, it's not that bad actually. I remember what I was going to say earlier. When we, like those parts of us that like doubt and have anxiety, or like I'm grateful for, like when your boyfriend breaks up with you, or when we like overthink, it's actually just like our body's just trying to help us. Like it's just trying to like prepare for the worst or all those things. And then like doing that makes you realize like, hey, it's okay to have these feelings. And then I feel like accepting the bad feelings makes you feel better. Like it gives you a good feeling instead of a bad feeling.
Yes.
It's weird. It's like contradicts everything the universe talks about or teaches, like the world teaches.
Right. It's so true. It's that surrender energy.
Yeah.
Of like letting life be as it is. And I talk about this in the last podcast. This seems to be like the energy for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 podcasts. I just feel this. Because when I made that video, Letting a Dream Die, people were like, what the heck are you talking about? It's the same thing. That's what I'm talking about now. Like being in acceptance of like what is, being with that sadness, being with that grief, being with whatever is present, being with yourself in the negative thoughts or energy, but not in a way where you're feeding it, but being with it in a way that I see you. Mm-hmm. We just watched Avatar. I see you energy.
You. Oh,
this is I see you energy. I know, right?
I love that movie.
So this is great convo.
Love it.
I just love you. I feel like I said this on my live, but anytime I'm with Avia, it's like we get into this like abundant energy talk and I just get so excited.
Yeah.
And I just feel my vibrations like rising. Like we are so powerful right now.
You'll be like doing the dishes and I'll be like just doing something random and we're just like talking about the most abundant things. And it's like totally doesn't match.
And then this, and then this. And it's just fun. It's fun when you have people that really connect with you on that way. And it's hard. Another thing that we've talked about in the past is when you have people in your life that don't give you good energy. Like what, I know that there's, sometimes we say, just get rid of them, right? But what if you have people in your life, you're like, yeah, just get rid of them.
Yeah, it's pretty lonely, but it works.
What advice would you give around like people that, maybe it's their family, maybe it's where they live, maybe they don't really have a choice to just get rid of them. Am I making myself, like, I feel like I'm all over the place.
It's okay.
What I'm trying to say is, what do you do when your energy around you, like the people around you, your energy at work or whatever is really difficult and it's negative? How can you hold your energy?
I think that just being willing to be different is the most important thing, because if you think about it, like you go to school, or like I remember going to school and everyone just talking about how they don't want to be here. This is so stupid. School sucks. XYZ, like all these things. And I just think that I wish that I had that confidence to be different, being like, I actually like this. Like, or like, oh my gosh, I get mad at myself about this all the time. There was this one day in high school where this girl that was on my cheer team, she wore heels to school. And I thought it was so damn cool. I was like, I wish I had that much confidence to wear heels to school. She looks like a baddie walking down the heels with like her heels and her jeans. And I was like, low-key so jealous of her. And there was like girls, obviously, who were like talking smack on her, being like, why would she wear heels to school? Like, she's such a tryhard, like such a sweat, like hating on her. And I remember being like, I know, right? Like agreeing with them because I was like, that's what everyone else is saying. I guess I'll do it too. And it made me so like now these like in this day and age, I'm like so infuriated with my past self. Cause I'm like, you loved her wearing heels, but you were too scared to say it. Like we all learn and I was young, but like I just wish I would have had that confidence to be different. Be like, really? I actually like her heels. And not in a way of like, I'm better than you because I'm being positive. In a way of like, that's what I genuinely think. And I'm not going to, like, we can respectfully disagree with each other. I don't always have to agree with you. And it's crazy what life does to you. It makes you learn. And so I feel like just having that, like, if you want to start making like a positive mindset, just having that, just like willing to be different, willing to be like, oh, you guys don't like the lunch today? I thought it was good. I mean, maybe you thought it was gross and like you can say it was gross. Or like, if you're like mad, if everyone's like talking smack on a coworker, you could like, I don't know, like, I think she's kind of cool, or maybe she is a little annoying, but you know, she's probably going through her own things. Like just having that open mindset and then just like, yeah, being willing to be different because it's hard because you want to be accepted and you want people to like you. But if you just learn to accept yourself and finding acceptance from the right people, like I always say in my mind, I'm like, as long as like I accept myself and my family loves me, I'll be good. Like I don't need anyone else to love me. Even in a way, I'm like, even if my family didn't love me though, I'd be chilling because like God loves me. But like just having that acceptance in yourself, not needing that external validation from other people or like coworkers, school friends, all those things. And yeah, I'm so sorry to that girl that I talked smack about. I love you and I love your heels. So yeah.
That is so true. I just love listening to you. Like, you're so awesome.
Okay, well, I have a good teacher. That's why.
But I love that. It goes back to what you said earlier, like being willing to be misunderstood. And I think when you honor yourself, and I get that part of you back then was like, oh, I'm just going to say this because everyone else is saying that. Like you kind of abandoned yourself so that you could fit in. And that can be really difficult when you recognize that you've been doing that, but also be with that part of you because sometimes we have to do what we have to do to feel accepted. But when we go through things like this, when we do our inner work, we realize we didn't have to do anything different than be ourselves to belong.
Yes. Like I always get this affirmation. I have this app on my phone that's called like I Am Affirmation. And I always get this affirmation that says, I am willing to wait for the love that I deserve. So if this like the positive belief mindset and like accepting yourself, it can be lonely sometimes because usually people are like, okay, a little stuck up girl who thinks that she's better than everyone. But really deep down, you're just like learning to accept who you are. And then like waiting, like one day you will find those people that like also are like, yeah, like have open mindset or have the same qualities as you are trying to like navigate towards. And I'm just like being patient, even if it's hard. I feel like it's so important. Like when I first moved to LA, I thought that I would just, you know, get all the best friends in a matter of 1 month because I've been waiting for so long. But it takes a long time to find like good friends that you want to be surrounded with. Like I am very particular on who I surround myself with because I do want to achieve like big things in this lifetime. And if like I'm going to hang out with someone and I can tell that like they're being negative or like we're not really friends yet, but I can tell they like don't really just like kind of have a pessimistic attitude. It's not that I like think I'm better than them and don't want to hang out with them. It's just that I don't want to surround myself with that. Like I'm just picky with who I surround myself, my energy with, because I want to protect that part of me and that energy in me that does have a positive mindset. Because when you are surrounded by people that don't have that, it's really hard to stay positive. Like there's always these quotes that like famous people talk about, like if you hang out with 4 millionaires, you'll be the 5th one. If you hang out with 4 like successful people, you'll become the 5th one. Or if you hang out with 4 people who hate themselves, you'll become the 5th one. Just like it's so important. And then just like being patient or being willing to be patient to get that love that you deserve is hard, but it's worth it.
Right.
I've said that a million times, but I think you get the point.
That's the theme. It's hard, but it's worth it. I love everything that you said. And it goes back to that feeling of like your energy is so valuable, and not needing others to understand you, but also creating that energy around you within and surrounding yourself with people that help support that energy is so empowering. And also, it's a yes, and it's okay for you to be around people that are negative. Like if you have family that's negative, or you have other people that you kind of still want a relationship with, but you know that they're not really super supportive of that energy, there's a lot of things you can do. You can, limit your time that you spend with them, but also all the inner work that empowers you helps you so that your energy is so solid that others around you, they'll either stay or they'll go, because they will love your energy or they won't be able to handle it.
So true.
So that's when, it's a yes, and like you want to be able to create your environment to match your energy, but creating your energy within so that your environments can be whatever they are and you're solid is also like the goal, right?
I remember when I first was moving to LA, I was like that, where I was like, I would tell people like, I'm moving to LA to pursue acting and social media. And I would get a lot of people like,
what?
Okay, yeah, great, awesome, good luck with that. And it's like, back then I would get a little nervous. I was like, oh no, like they don't believe me. Like, it's okay, like I can still do it. Or like I would have that. And now a year later, it takes time, but like a year later,
yes,
when people are like, what's your plan B? I'm like, plan A is plan B.
Yep.
And I'm like,
amen.
I don't need you to believe in me anymore. Like I believe in myself and that's all I got. And I don't need your pessimistic attitude.
Oh, I love that. I know it takes time.
It takes time. It really does.
And effort. Mm-hmm. You gotta be the one standing by yourself and trusting in yourself and working on that static, letting go of that static so you can continue to stay in that energy. But I love it. Yeah. This has been such a good conversation.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't want it to end.
So abundant.
It's probably time to go. So abundant. I feel so abundant now. And I'm sure there were so many questions and things that you would have wanted me to ask Avia. So make sure you leave them in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or send me a message on any socials, on my website. I would love to hear anything. Please comment and rate this. All the things. And I want to know if there's more questions you want to ask Avia, because I'm sure I will have her on again.
Of course. You already know.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
You already know.
Don't miss me too much.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
See you next week. Thanks for watching Empowered Now. If anything you heard today resonated with you and you want more, please like and subscribe so that you won't miss an upload. You can also follow me on social media at Colette Kati. And if you're interested in working with me more closely through coaching or other opportunities, go to my website, ColetteKati.com. It is my hope that you will continue to come back and experience for yourself the benefits of choosing an empowered life. Your feedback and your experience are very important to me, so please take a moment to connect with me in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on today's episode, ideas for future topics, and ideas for guests that you would like to see. And as always, thanks for your time, support, and your courage to live empowered now.